You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.
Greetings, Donald here, and if you know me at all, you probably know that I'm a resume writer. And you might even know that among the resume writers, I am a little bit famous, and there are some excellent resume writers out there, but nobody does this work better than I do. Having said that, most people have no idea what I do. People ask me, what do you do? And I say, I'm a resume writer. Really? Do they pay you to do that? They're clueless, no idea what I do. But for certain people, possibly you, I add tens of thousands of dollars to resumes and job offers. And I never claim that I can do that for everybody. But you might be the type of person who changes jobs and leaves a pile of money sitting on the table because you don't really know what you're doing. And because your new employer has no idea of the value that you have created for past employers. And that's where I come in. In this short video, I'll show you how I add tens of thousands of dollars to offers and resumes, and I make it look so easy, but it's not. I've increased job offers by 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, and maybe even more that I don't know about. I've catapulted people from CIO or CFO to new positions as chief executive. And I make it look easy. I can make it look easy because I'm very selective about who I accept as a client. My ideal client for $1 million resume has great business or technical talent, but weak or awful packaging. In other words, a creator of high value whose resume sucks and he or she does not even know it. Many talented people fit that description, maybe you, and in a minute I'll give you 3 examples. But first, the prerequisites. Number 1 is a great story and a great storyteller. And a great story means you did something phenomenal for a client or customer. And here's where people screw up. I meet many people who have great raw material that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars to them. But instead of showing it on a resume or LinkedIn, they lock it up inside their heads where nobody can see it. Sometimes these people do it on purpose. They lock up their best information because they're afraid they will be perceived as braggarts. Or maybe their parents, beat the crap out of them during potty training. Or something else, like false modesty or the infamous imposter complex. Hiding under a rock kills their careers, and they know it. So here's where I come in. I unlock the hidden secret gold. I extract it right out of your head. And I do that through an in-depth interview. That's why resume writing does not really describe the benefit of what I do. The real job of resume writing is not the actual writing. It's finding something great to write about. Sometimes that takes me hours of interviewing to get the information I'm looking for. You might hear people say, I can write my own resume because nobody knows my career better than I do. Actually, that's wrong. That's a very stupid idea. I know that because I've helped 1,700 people with their resumes and job searches. And I can guarantee that you cannot interview yourself as well as I can, or somebody like me. Here's a famous cartoon. You cannot read the label from inside the jar. This applies to you and me and any normal person. Okay, so here's example number 1, $1 million resume before and after. And by the way, these stories are true, but I've changed all the identities. So example number 1, here's a cybersecurity expert. He started working in a new job at a global bank. After a few weeks on the job, the cyber thieves in Europe invaded the bank with a new type of cyber attack. The bank jumped into emergency panic mode. They called in all the in-house staff as well as a team of consultants from the world's top cybersecurity company. The consultants knew what to do, but implementing their plan would create a mess. And cleaning up the mess might cost over $30 million to clean up. Instead of that, my client proposed a solution that could fix the problem without spending any money. He had already fixed this problem for his previous employer. Can you imagine that great contribution? Saving the bank $30 million within his first month? A few years later, he got restless and wanted to change jobs. He told me that dramatic story about the $30 million, but I could not find it on his resume. Where's the $30 million success story? I asked. He pointed me to this little paragraph you see here on his resume. It's gibberish. 5 little bullet points that barely make any sense in English. On his new resume, we told his real story without getting into trouble, or violating any confidentiality. And that new resume catapulted him into the stratosphere. Bigger job and a 30% increase. You get the idea. Here's another example. A corporate CTO, Chief Technology Officer. His story is a tangled rat's nest on the original. Makes no sense at all. For outsiders, he looks like a loser who cannot communicate. His best information was locked up inside his head, where nobody can see it. The interview fixed that problem, and now his resume looks like Superman. He solves big global problems, tireless workaholic who contributes many tens of millions of dollars to the company's bottom line. His new resume shows what he can do, and he catapulted himself from CTO to a chief executive position at a smaller company. Now, here's a third example. This person turned around a factory that had a nervous breakdown. The company had installed an extremely sophisticated SAP system, but it was not configured correctly. Suddenly, everything stopped working. Top management went into a panic. They fired the general manager and put my client in charge. And meanwhile, 200 people were just sitting around with nothing to do, which cost overall $1 million a day. Urgent. My client had no knowledge of SAP, but he was a very organized person who pulled the right people together and project managed the turnaround. He fixed the problem within a few weeks. A real hero. But look at his original resume. On the original, he looks like a low-level drone who supervises building facilities and maintenance. New resume tells his real story. And remember, if you've got great information, $1 million success that's locked up inside your head, call me ASAP and we'll create $1 million resume for you. I'm out of time, gotta go, but I wish you the very best of good luck in your search.